I'm going to start off by talking about the Human Development Index, abbreviated HDI, and this is an index that measures the status of life in any given place based off of life expectancy, education levels, and income per capita indicators. This index is measured on a 0 to 1 scale as seen in the image presented, and having a score closer to 0 means that a country is less developed, and having a score closer to 1 means a country is more developed. This map is a choropleth map showing the Human Development Index in 2017, and as you can see from the scale at the bottom, the darker colors of green represent a higher HDI, and the lighter colors represent a lower HDI. This graphic introduces the aspects used to measure Human Development Index. The first aspect is life expectancy at birth, so I used a picture of a baby and a picture of an elderly person, and this shows the health that a country has. The next aspect is education, and I use a picture of a classroom with some books and a graduating cap. And the factors that go into this are the mean years of schooling seen in this choropleth map, and also the expected years of schooling in a certain country shown in this choropleth map. And these two together show how educated a country is. The final aspect used to measure Human Development Index is gross national income. So I showed some US dollars and some foreign money to show this. Gross national income measures the total amount of income that a country earns, and this includes money from investments that flow back into the country. And this measurement really gives a good idea of how wealthy a country is, and also gives a glimpse into the average standard of living. Now I will switch over into talking about the Gender Inequality Index, and this is an index that shows the loss in potential human development due to disparities between female and male achievements. Like the Human Development Index, the Gender Inequality Index is on a scale from 0 to 1, and a score closer to 0 means that there is less gender inequality, and a score closer to 1 means that there is more gender inequality. This graphic organizer introduces the aspects that go into measuring the Gender Inequality Index. The first aspect used to measure the Gender Inequality Index is reproductive health, so I included a picture of a pregnant woman and a pregnant woman at a doctor's appointment. And statistics that are used to measure this are things like adolescent fertility rate or maternal mortality rate. The second aspect used to measure the Gender Inequality Index is empowerment. So I included a picture of women in Congress and the new Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, and also some women leaders around the world. And I did this to show that women's empowerment means representation in the government or opportunities to secondary education. The final aspect used to measure the Gender Inequality Index is the economic status / labor force of women. So I included some images of women working, and this basically means how many women are working outside of the home. The images that I use for both the Human Development Index and the Gender Inequality Index can be applied to almost anywhere. So the country that I picked for my workbook was Kenya, and the Human Development Index of Kenya is 0.579, which is not a very good Human Development Index. It is 147 out of 189 countries measured, and this is probably because Kenya has a pretty low life expectancy at about 66 years, and its expected years of schooling is 6.6 years, which is pretty low compared to other countries. And Kenya has a GII of 0.545, which is a mediocre Gender Inequality Index, but there are still shortcomings in reproductive health and women's representation in the government. Kenya's Human Development Index and Gender Inequality Index are not that good compared to other countries around the world. So on Wallerstein's world systems theory, Kenya would actually be considered a periphery country. A periphery country is the least developed type of country in Wallerstein's theory. Kenya's Human Development Index and Gender Inequality Index show that the country has a lot more developing to do before they can reach a semi-periphery or core country development level.